How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today, we are talking about the coolest interactions from the latest Flesh and Blood set, Everfest. There are some really fun ones, and there's some really jank ones. These interactions are just what I thought to be the coolest. If you have some spicy tech of your own, please let me know in the comments down below. And before we get started, I do want to mention that today's video is brought to you by FAB, the premier Flesh and Blood deck building and database website. It's what I use to build all of my decks, and it's what I think you should use to build your decks as well. Link in the description down below, as well as various other affiliate links and that kind of stuff. But without further ado, let's get started with today's list. It's like a top 9 list, I think. We're going to kick it off with my absolute favorite interaction of the set. It's something that if you follow me on social media, and you should definitely be following me on Twitter, I tweet a lot about Flesh and Blood. A lot of the stuff I tweet about does not make it onto the channel, but this is one thing that I really wanted to talk about. This is my favorite interaction from Everfest. It's so cool, and it's like the whole reason I wanted to do this video. It's the interaction between Earthlore Bounty and Luck Potion. Earthlore Bounty is a Guardian chest equipment that just says, whenever you draw a card from an effect of an action card, create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. It also has 2 defense and temper, but we don't really care about that. We care about the creating Seismic Surge tokens for every card drawn, because Potion of Luck says, instant, destroy Potion of Luck, shuffle your hand and your arsenal into your deck, then draw that many cards. And yes, we have checked with a level 2 judge. This does, in fact, work, and on the official Flesh and Blood website is one of the noted interactions with Earthlore Bounty. So if you had a card in Arsenal and a full grip, say you Arsenal at the end of your turn, and you have this Potion of Luck sitting around, you can crack the Potion of Luck and create 5 Seismic Surge tokens, which is, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Earthlore Bounty also combos with many other cards that draw you cards, basically. Any card that draws you cards goes well with Earthlore Bounty, but in particular, the Potion of Luck is my absolute favorite interaction. The next interaction is one that I know a lot of you out there have already seen and maybe even started to play with. It's one that is very near and dear to my heart because of how random and fun it is. That, of course, is the interaction between Ready to Roll and Gambler's Gloves. So Ready to Roll is a brute action card. It is a KO specialization that simply says, if you would roll 1 or more dice this turn, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. Now, when you compare that with Gambler's Gloves, you get to roll just a lot of dice. Gambler's Gloves says, whenever a hero rolls a 6-sided die, you may destroy Gambler's Gloves. If you do, that hero re-rolls that dice. And since we have this replacement effect from Ready to Roll, if you would roll a 1 or more dice this turn, instead roll that many plus 1, it means that you're going to be rolling 2 dice, and then if you don't like that roll, you can pop your Gambler's Gloves and then roll 2 more dice. So for the low value of your Gambler's Gloves destroyed, you get to roll 4 dice, and I think that is just a really fun and awesome interaction. The next interaction is actually between 2 cards from Everfest, and they might just be some of my favorite cards from the set, especially the hero in this equation. In fact, I've already gone and built this hero in Ultimate Pit Fight, and I think it is just one of the favorite decks that I've ever built. I, of course, am talking about Volda Bright Axe, and basically anything that lets your opponent draw cards, but specifically this rounds on me. Oh, I love this. So Volda Bright Axe says, whenever an opponent draws a card during an action phase, this is any action phase, so it can occur during your action phase, create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. At the start of your turn, if you control 3 or more Seismic Surge token cards you own with Crush, gain Dominate until end of turn. And then you pair that with this rounds on me, which is a 1-cost generic action that has Go Again and says each hero draws a card. Until the start of your next turn, attacks that target you have -1. So there's a 1 cost with Go Again. That with Volda, if you're playing this in Ultimate Pit Fight, say you're playing a 4-player pit fight, you and 3 others, will create 3 Seismic Surge tokens. And if you're running that Earthlore Bounty that we talked about before, because you're drawing a card, it will create another one. So this will create 4 Seismic Surge tokens for 1 resource that also has go again, and also says until the start of your next turn, attacks that target you have -1. This is really cool. I just love this, and I think it makes Valda an absolute powerhouse in Ultimate Pit Fight, which is of course one of the reasons why it contributes to being one of my favorite decks that I have ever built. Valda is just an absolute powerhouse, and of course, if you make all those seismic surge tokens, then all your attacks with Crush gain Dominate that turn, which is also pretty crazy. So I actually love this combo quite a bit. The next interaction is a pretty simple one, but one that I know a lot of Warrior fans are very, very happy to have, especially Boltyn fans. Of course, I'm talking about the interaction between Helm of Sharp Eye and Raiden Duskbane. So Helm of Sharp Eye is a warrior equipment headpiece. It has 1 defense, it has Battle Worn. It says attack reaction for a single resource, destroy Helm of Sharp Eye, banish the top card of your deck. You may play it this combat chain, activate this ability only if you control a weapon with attack greater than twice its base attack. And now when you combine that with the Raiden Duskbane, a light warrior weapon, it's a 2-handed sword. It looks awesome, by the way. It says once per turn action for a cost of 0 attack. If you've charged this turn, Raiden gains +3. And since its base attack is 0, +3 is definitely greater than double 0. So yeah, this immediately works with any attack that you've used to pump up your Raiden Duskbane, which just gives you that extra oomph to power on another massive, massive turn. This is something that Charge Boltyn really kind of needed. They didn't know they needed it until they saw it, and then they're like, yes, this is sweet. Please give me that Helm of Sharp Eye. Also, the Helm blocks, and then you can just use the ability to destroy it. Awesome combo. The next interaction is one that is very near and dear to my Ranger heart. It is between Dreadboard, my own preview card for Everfest, as well as a couple other Ranger cards, 1 an attack and 1 a non-attack. So Dreadboard is a Ranger weapon 2-handed bow that says once per turn action for a single resource, you can put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal zone you control. If you do, it gains +1 until end of turn go again. But the relevant part here is that arrows you control have defense reactions, can't be played from hand this chain link. And that combos very, very nicely with another card from Everfest, Release the Tension. This is a 0-cost Ranger action that says your next arrow attack this turn gains +3 for the red pitch version, and defense reactions can't be played from Arsenal this chain link. So if you combine Release the Tension and Dreadboard, then defense reactions can't be played from hand, and they also can't be played from chain link. And you can combine this with other on-hit effects that either destroy cards in Arsenal or destroy cards in hand to create a very, very punishing turn that's very, very hard to block, especially if you can dominate that arrow. Speaking of arrows, another arrow with this effect built in is Remorseless, and this is one of the key cards to use with Dreadboard. Remorseless is a 1-cost 5-attack Ranger arrow, and it says if Remorseless is put into your arsenal face up, until end of turn, it gains defense reactions can't be played from Arsenal to Remorseless's chain link. If Remorseless hits a hero until the end of their next turn, whenever they play an action card, they lose 1 life. So with these cards together, you just basically make it so that it's just very, very hard to defend your arrows. And you can push through some really, really nice on-hit effects. Like I said, if you can especially dominate those arrows. And speaking of dominating arrows, we're going to talk about a card that helps one of my favorite heroes in the game, if not my absolute favorite hero in the game, a fan favorite, Azalea. And this is a combo that I don't know how good it is, but I think it's sweet. I think it's just sweet. Of course, I'm talking about the Potion of Deja Vu and Azalea. So the Potion of Deja Vu, other than having some of the best art in the entire set, which is saying a lot because the art in Everfest is absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to the artists right now. It just helps you set up dominate arrows for Azalea. Now, I don't know if this is good because you're gonna have to be, wasting an action point playing the potion. But once you do, once you have a good setup, then you can basically just dominate whatever you want and set up for a really big turn. So Potion of Deja Vu says, instant, destroy Potion of Deja Vu, put all cards from your pitch zone on top of your deck in any order. Your opponents don't get to see the order of these cards. Now, why does it matter the order of the cards on the top of your deck? Well, Azalea's hero ability says, once per turn action, 0, put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. If you do, put the top card of your deck face up into your arsenal. If it's an arrow card, it gains dominate until the end of turn. go again. So this basically makes it so that you can pitch a card during a turn, and then you can use the potion of Deja Vu to put that card on top of your deck, presumably a really, really powerful arrow like the Remorseless that we talked about previously, and then you can use your Azalea's ability to give it Dominate. Now, using that Azalea ability to give something Dominate is pretty tricky to use. There's not a lot of good ways to do it right now, and I think this is just one of the more fun ways to do it. Like I said, I don't know how good it is, but I'm definitely going to be trying it because I think it is really sweet. I think it's really, really sweet. And speaking of really, really sweet, see, we're tying this all together. Let's talk about the new wizard hero, Icelander. And now this is a interaction that is just kind of built in on the card. It's nothing too special or crazy, but it's just something that I think is awesome and that I just want to do. And that, of course, is just playing potions at instant speed using Icelander's ability. So Icelander's ability says, if it's not your turn, you may play non-attack action cards with blue color strips from your arsenal as though they were an instant. And just so happens, almost every single potion in the game, it has that blue color strip, like the Time Snap potion here. And I think this could lead to really, really interesting and fun builds for Icelander, either in Blitz or Ultimate Pit Fight, where you can just kind of build up a bunch of potions. Because you can do your thing on your turn, right? You can blast your opponent for some arcane damage, and then you arsenal your Time Snap potion at the end of your turn, and then you just play it on your opponent's turn. So it's kind of like you get to play it for free anyway, right? Because you're playing it on your opponent's turn, and then you can activate its ability on your turn. And in the case of the Time Snap potion here, it can set up for even bigger arcane damage turns, playing this on your opponent's turn and then using it on your turn to gain those 2 extra action points. I think that's a really fun interaction with Icelander. I think she is the potion queen as of now. And once again, it's just another interaction that I really, really want to use. The next interaction ties into that just a little bit because it is a wizard interaction using probably one of the worst weapons in the entire game, but one that I still like to use. That interaction is between the Talisman of Warfare and the Aether Conduit. Yeah, we're actually talking about the Aether Conduit here. The Aether Conduit is a wizard weapon staff. It has a once per turn action for 2 resources, deal 2 arcane damage to a hero. And that's pretty underwhelming normally, but the Talisman of Warfare says, when a source you control deals exactly 2 damage to an opposing hero, destroy Talisman of Warfare and all cards in all arsenals. Now, this can easily be prevented with Arcane Barrier, but you're then forcing your opponent to prevent damage from your measly little Aether Conduit. And if it gets through, you can pop your Talisman of Warfare and destroy all cards in all arsenals. Once again, I don't know if this is good, but it's just a very interesting interaction that I found in Everfest, and one that, once again, I think will be really, really fun in multiplayer formats or in Blitz formats, where these things are a little bit trickier to do. And the final interaction for today is between 2 very, very innocuous cards. One that I've actually played with quite a bit in my time, and then a brand new Everfest card, of course. We are talking about the interaction between Talisman of Featherfoot and Lunging Press. So Lunging Press is a 0-cost generic attack reaction. It has blue pitch, and it just says target attack action card gains +1. Now the Talisman of Featherfoot says when an attack you control gains exactly +1 from an effect during the reaction step, destroy Talisman of Featherfoot and the attack gains go again. So this is just a really easy way to give any attack go again, literally any attack in the game. And normally giving attacks go again is very, very restrictive because that's a very, very powerful mechanic. So the Talisman of Featherfoot has a really, really nice interaction with the Lunging Press card. So you can also say stuff like any like Razor Reflex, for example, could also give an attack +1 during the reaction step. But Lunging Press is just the easiest way to do it because it costs 0. And you can just play it in a bunch of different decks. Now, once again, is this good? I think it's actually pretty good. And I think this could be good in some sort of like wombo combo deck. But in any case, I just love interactions like this. And as the game of Flesh and Blood matures over time, we are sure to see many more interactions like this going forward. Thank you for watching the video, everyone. Don't forget to check all of those links in the description down below, especially my affiliate links with Channel Fireball and my own online store if you'd like to pick up some excellent merch, Red Zone Rogue merch. We got playmats. We're gonna have some Dragon Shield sleeves and some more stuff in the future. Don't forget to let me know what your favorite interactions are in the comments down below, and I will see you next time for some more Flesh and Blood content. See you later, everyone.